Hey everybody, welcome. It's Becky Mattea. It's Good Day NWI, and it's August 11th, 2024.
Could you imagine? This summer has gone by so fast. This is crazy.
And
it's gone.
I'm so captivated by the Olympics. I'm still like riding that energy from watching. And I started out not, but then I kept getting more and more enamored by it. And then by today, I had it on all day.
Good. That's what most people are doing.
Beautiful.
It's supposed to be doing that for you. That's
good. So,
good.
Did you say who you are?
I'm Pete Panos. I forgot who I was. No, I'm just kidding.
So Good Day NWI, we cover Northwest Indiana. So it's Lake Porter, LaPorte County. And then we go down low if anybody can help us out with that. But it's usually, I can't even think of those right now. Jasper.
Yeah, we haven't been down this way in a long time.
Stark. That's 3, and maybe we'll think of the 7th one. Anybody that lives down that way. Typically we do a weekly show, but this summer we've been doing monthly because I had a hip surgery scheduled, which is postponed. So I think we might go one more monthly and then we go back to weekly. But we're really looking for that premier sponsor. And so I was just talking to Woody, who we have a mutual friend whose boss is Fred Hewlett, and I would love to have them senior care insurance services, because I really adore him, and I think he actually likes me as well. He always is very happy to see me in the office.
Does that mean we'll get a discount on insurance?
I don't know. You have to. I think you have to be a little bit older than us, but sure. He remembered. He remembers things very well. He remembered going to my parents' home many years ago and knew my.
Well, so he does what, supplement insurance and stuff like that? I think
so. Yes.
Oh.
Yep. So that's one of the big things. We'd like to have that on the screen. And then we have Good Day NWI, our guest names, and the show name, and our premier sponsor. And typically, our run of the show is food, fashion, weather, traffic. We always start with that. And then we had pets, and then we have sports, and what's next after that?
Weather, we talk about how bad the expressways are, all kinds of stuff.
And then special guests.
Yes, always.
And then music. So we used to have this format that took up a whole hour. But now that we're on the road, we filled up most of that with our special guests. And I'm going to just rattle through those. Besides our wonderful staff, we are actually right outside Valpo in Wanata.
That's
so we're
never been here ever in my life. Now I can say I've been here.
We're expanding Pete's horizons.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
right?
actually in LaPorte County, but we knew a lot of folks from Valpo and Chesterton and brought them over because a lot of times we're in Lake County at your
the
place.
Majority of the time, right.
And so I try to, when we're in these areas, is bring in people from the region that's surrounding that.
But let me tell you, the ride coming here, very scenic. I really liked it. It wasn't. I'm on the expressway morning, day, night. It was very nice. Actually.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking when we came out here, it's a country ride, but I was saying Route 30. Now it's developing as well. But we are at George Nisha's house. He's Lakeshore Video, and he's got his home studio set up. So what we really would like to let people know, and he mentioned this. George, you could say it again. Can you hear me? What's one of the best things about being on this show is it's an inexpensive way to. Yeah, absolutely. Because you can take this, if you're on it, you can take the snippet and utilize it. And he typically charges thousands to go and do this. So if you're on the show, then you can take this snippet. And right now we're in this phase where we are promoting, but we are really looking at different revenue streams because this is a labor of love for us. And I would really like to start. I mean, now, we give out a little bit, but this stuff is expensive to do, the technology.
It is.
So we have really good talent, great content, and technology, and it's really been boosted this summer because George has come on and donated his time.
It's come a long way from when we started almost a year ago.
Yeah, it's almost a year.
Almost a year.
And I had been doing things previous to that with radio and Facebook Lives. So the beauty is we can actually, no longer do you need that person to go, oh yeah, you're great, and we're gonna now have you on the show, and we're gonna make you famous. We're making ourselves famous. There's so many things out there.
It's so interesting, and we found this out kind of the hard way by people saying, "Hey, why aren't you guys on this week?" I'll get a text message from Messenger through Facebook. Hey, we tuned in at 7:00. Where are you guys? So because we took some time off for the summer.
Yeah. So I share past big shows because we've had some wonderful guests throughout the year, and I'm going to make mention. The music people who have been on the show, if you're asking about eyes. We have 1 million potential eyes because I share it in about 50 groups, 50 to 100 groups. So potentially they're seeing the show. You could share right now. And one of the things I forgot to mention on our guest, if you could go on your Facebook and go to Good Day NWI, there's a drop down or a click, and you go invite friends. You can invite 1,000 friends because our goal is to keep building those numbers.
Correct.
We're on YouTube Live. We're on Twitch Live, Insta, Twitter. So we had a production meeting at one of a really
good restaurant.
Yes, Pesto's.
Yep.
And we did a lot there. David Lane helps us. I'm going to move around the room. Leah is here. Leah Lombardini. She does sports training. She's here helping me. And then our special guest, I just want to rattle those off really quick. To my right here is Barb Domer. She is a councilwoman for the city of Valparaiso. Next up, I'm going in the order, so we keep the order, is Christine. Las Mamacitas, who brought the food, but they're not here to talk, but we're going to talk about Las Mamacitas. And then at 7:30, Christine Juda, that I met through Beautiful at the Opera House in Valparaiso. She's has her music, and she's going to sing and promote and talk a little bit about what she does for a living. She's a nurse. And then after that, I call it after halftime, because I'm a sports star. We have some beautiful faith-based with Leena, Meisberger and Light the Way, which has an event in October in Valpo, and Jeff Robertson, who I also met in Beautiful. I don't know, I coined it this, but I had to say marriage. What was my thing for that? Marriage keepers. I was saying that he has some very beautiful words of wisdom.
We had a good discussion in the back here before we started here.
You and Jeff?
Yeah.
Mr. Robertson?
Let me tell you.
All right.
Timing is good.
So you're already making progress. See, I thought this would be lovely because you're all meeting each other, and you're like, you could share your ideas and then help one another and help all of us.
Correct.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
So that talks about our room.
And now we also have Kia.
Oh, that's right.
Which is a huge ordeal. They're going to air, and we're going to make a little 30-second commercial about Good Day NWI, and they're going to air it on their apps. You have to be a Kia owner to get the app on your phone. Right now, they have 140,000 people. And they actually, after 90 days, it's free. Then they pay $7 a month who will know about this. And that started already.
Our alter egos. Pete works for Kia. So
yes, I do.
That's part of what's supporting us. Also, Cash Charities. I also do. We talked about this a little bit with the opioids and fentanyl. Angels Honor Guard, which my other daughter started to keep that out of our area. And then also I have a company called Vision Quest where I do a lot of consulting. And one of the big things is we spoke about ARPA funds, but it's similar to that. It's Ready Funds, and I helped get the Cultural Center in Crown Point on the list to get that money. So we're really keeping our fingers crossed. And I think that's moving into the Lilly Foundation. There's a lot of moving parts in everything you do, right? Right.
Tons. And the Vision Quest puts grants together, correct?
Well, that's one of the things
That's
we
a
do.
lot of work. That's
yes,
a lot of work.
We source, we consult, we source money, we fundraise. I teach at IUN. So that's a little bit of, and I'm very creative. So this is one of the things that I created. And through my life, I was like, wow, I have that song. And Hannah Geiser was in town, and I was thinking that maybe it was somebody before Hannah. Can't remember. She did Dancing with the Stars. She was just here in LaPorte. And I said, well, maybe Hannah will do that song. But one of the things we want to reach out to, and we talked about this at our meeting, is brought to you by us. And if you want to donate, I think in the lower thirds on the bottom of the screen, you can Zelle Vision Quest D2R at outlook.com. You can also, let's read these off right here. That Zelle, that's the Zelle. What's next? On Facebook, you can do second thing after Zelle.
It's what the QR
codes,
code.
but we have
Correct.
the QR codes, but it's not taking you to the donation, so we're working on that. But we will have that in the future, because that's a real easy way on literature. If you have a QR code and it takes you right to the donation, that's what I did with Indiana Ballet
And Stars.
You can, and I've noticed this when you're watching these different social medias, especially Facebook, it says, do you want to give stars? And there you go. And then somehow that converts into you pay some money and then they give it to your show. And I guess that keeps people watching their platform. So that's another way to do that. Did you notice what's the next one? The next two there? join YouTube. So people are subscribing to YouTube. But like I said, the Casey guy, Leah, have you watched that Casey guy? I think his name is Nate. That's how I thought about that YouTube, because he commentates the Casey, Kansas City Chiefs games for people that can't get it. One of the greatest things about the Olympics is I could actually go on to Channel 5 and watch the Olympics without that was probably like one of the biggest reasons why I loved it so much. But I was talking to Lutz, our sports guy, why don't we do that for Bears fans? And then you join to get like extra content, pregame, postgame, they win helmets. That'd be a great way to get following, because, in America, sports is big.
That Chiefs guy is unbelievable.
Oh, did you see?
I've seen it. How he's put this whole ordeal together out of his living room in his house, right?
Yeah.
With one camera and one guy, it's unbelievable.
So that might be
and with hundreds of thousands of followers.
200,000 now, yeah. And then the other thing David mentioned is Patreon. So we've been doing this hour show, but we've been discussing these spinoffs. So, I don't think it'd be anything really heated, but I think it's exciting, and I think it's good to talk about and have discussions and ideas about tough topics like politics, sports. The list goes on and on.
Here, people fight each other over sports. Let me tell you, right?
So you can do like the hour or half an hour, and then we say, stay tuned, go through the paywall into Patreon, or it could be something in depth, because I would like to do. Mine is dive a little deeper. I think yours would be like right of center court. That was another ode to sports, because we're both basketball players. And then we would have more of a podcast setting, which this is kind of reminiscent of. George does his podcast, and we would go deeper into that subject matter. Because this is I liken it to a sporting event. We practice, we get everybody together, who's showing up, who's got game, who feels good, and then we put it all together. And actually today's going pretty well. Mm-hmm. Leah, are you seeing, or George, anybody watching? Because about at this time, about 7:15, my other watch died, so I have a watch on, I haven't changed
somewhere
the
at 6:15.
Mountain time.
Yeah, there you go.
Is anybody watching that we usually give a gift to? Who's our usuals? Anybody on any of them? Because I know on mine, when it goes to Becky Matea, our usuals. Leah, do you see anybody watching? Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back to that. And then we also ask people in the audience and in the room. We do have an audience today. Later on in the show, we do an impact winner. We ask you to think about somebody in your community that's doing great things. Not necessarily, and I see this a lot, is they give it to someone who it's their job and they're getting paid a lot of money. I'm talking about somebody that is in your community, doesn't get a lot of props, and is doing, and I thought about a couple different ones. They've kind of come and gone. I thought of Melody because I saw her at the Oilman game. Super fan, that's who I'm giving it to, because he actually called me today. Super fan Mike from the Oilman game. Went to every game this year. They did not win, but Don Popovac has been a good supporter of this program. And he has a beautiful Northern League. There's about 5 teams in that. Elkhart actually won the Miracle, which I think is a beautiful, I'm trying to use other adjectives. Fantastic name. And it goes all the way over to Elkhart. So we've expanded a little bit to South Bend Elkhart. So I wanted to mention him today. So that would be our gift.
And now with high school sports starting again, football season's coming, homecoming season, I like to find a kid that's great at football that no one's talking about and bring them on and recognize them. And same thing with basketball, all those sports, because the high schools don't do that. They don't. So
there's a little bit. Sports do get pretty well recognized. I kind of like to go after the well-rounded and a girl we had on at the beginning of the year. She had a schoolmate, and that's Jen's son, which is supposed to be on. And he's Caden Verrett. He's at Hanover, and he's one of the top players in the area. And we're hoping that he does really well. And we're going to give a shout out to Gabby Camille. I'm pretty sure she left for Florida. But there are a lot of besides sports. Somebody said to me, "Boy, you're really involved in sports." I just believe they need to be involved in something: music, art,
yes, you do.
Band, Trojan Guard, bowling, speech and debate, because supervised, tired, busy keeps them out of trouble.
You need the discipline, correct?
So, and your kids are in soccer,
all
right?
in soccer. And when you were growing up, you're in sports 100%. Me, 100% theater. I know that's hard to believe, but major theater fan. I did a lot of community theater. I've been everywhere in Valpo, 4th Street Theater, you name it, I've been there.
And that's why he, as this developed, and I'm like, who could? And then I see him pop up late night, because that's another thing we do. We try to keep fit. He's a late night walker. I'm like, who would do this with me? I call him up. He's all in, and he also, the house. He designed his home to have us there. I
designed it, built around the theater, actually. So I have a real theater in my house. The whole night, you walk in, you think you're at a real theater. So now we added a studio across from the theater, so we could do theater stuff and we could do studio stuff. Did it both. Which is lovely, although I feel a little bad because it is his home and he has kids and animals, and I want to do that. But our goal, and I'm going to shout it out there because I'm gonna see it, see it to be it. That's one of the things I coach a lot. Is South Shore Convention and Visitors Association. I think that's the A Academy. I don't know. So that's over in Munster. But there's 3 of them. We also do, this is also good for cities and chambers. So we'd like to have them on, and they have them providing. But a premier sponsor that there is an event coming up this week at Hard Rock. And they're the #1 grossing entertainment business in the Midwest. And we'd like to have them invest in this and then lift all of these people that live here up, right? Yeah. So let's think it. A lot of mental work, if you noticed, in anything you do. It's very important, very important. All right, so let's just do food, fashion, weather, traffic really quick, and then we're going to go to our start off with Barb. Food, we'll talk about that after Barb, because we have that in today with Las Mamacitas, and that's Monica Jimenez. Fashion, what do you got on? The normal, of course, Calvin Klein. Okay. Obviously, because I like it, because I don't have to walk to the store to buy it. I just log online and click it. But recently I had to buy smaller sizes, which is good. Oh yeah, because I'm a major Ozempic fan. But you work out too. That's important, and you watch what you're eating, and people can tune in to your page if you friend him. He walks at night and puts it up, and you can walk with him between 11 and 12 o'clock at night. I know that's insane. I get it. I do it then too. So I go and I walk. I do 5 or 6 miles, and a lot of people tune in, and I tell them, don't be lazy, get off the couch, go do your walk, and a lot of them walk. And they can't do that, but they do what they can. They send me a message, hey, I got 2.5 miles in today. And I encourage people to keep themselves in good shape. And I've been there for a long time. And I like... Are you sure you weren't on the cheering team at the school? I was in college. Oh, see? At Indiana State. Yeah, Indiana State. And they did well this year, too. Yeah, I was actually. I was thinking, you'd be perfect with that. I did. So that continues on. Yeah. I'm also going to mention, I try to coordinate the color of the town I'm going to. So I had something green, but I went with a little bit more bluey green because it reminded me of Paris and the Olympics. And then it was my birthday, so I brought some flowers for the people who are here. I think I got this at Ann Taylor. I worked there in college. I went to the mall. And I want to mention, at that time, I think we do a little bit of the cities too, don't we, at some point here? Usually in the sports, we mention all the cities that we cover, but that's in Michigan City. We'll finish up with the cities after we do that. I had some really cool shoes that were from Europe, but because my hip, I didn't want to bend, but there were some less expensive ones. I think we went to the mall in Maryville, similar and more comfortable, and I got South Lake Mall? Yeah, they changed the name, didn't they? Now it went back to South Lake, right? Yes. It was called something else, right? Westfield. It threw everybody off, and then they went back to the way it was. And how is the traffic out there? The expressways weren't bad at all, actually, today. Yeah, coming this way, it shouldn't be. It was so easy coming here. It took forever because I came from Joliet, but overall, it was easy. Typically going back from the east to the west because people go on the weekends. Correct. And I'm going to mention, too, you got to be safe in Lake Michigan. We've had a lot of problems in Lake Michigan. A lot of people drowning. That's what I'm talking about. Horrible lately. You got to just stay. I just tell them stay out of the water. Man, oh, man. So another piece to that, if you go on to 555in.org, you can see where there's construction, you can see the red light cameras, and you can see where there's accidents. But usually go on beforehand. It's not really on your phone. Correct, and redirect yourself, so you're not going to have to deal with that. And what's our weather looking like for the fall? Beautiful. 70 degrees the rest of the week, 79, 75. It's beautiful. Yeah, August is a nice month. I can always tell it's like in the evening, I'm like, oh, football's in the air. 55 degrees at nighttime. Yeah. But it's nice and sunny during the day, lovely. And I didn't look, in September, I'll look at the Farmer's Almanac and see what's happening
this fall, just to kind of give everybody a heads up there. Let's name our cities really quick, and you guys in the audience can help us. So we usually start with Whiting and Hammond
because that's where we're from.
Right, exactly. And we're in the corner, the very northwest corner, and then we'll talk about Valpo a little bit because that's coming this way. Yeah. So let's go down Lake County, East Chicago,
Munster, Munster, Highland,
Griffith,
Cherville, Griffith,
St.
Dyer, St. John,
Cedar Lake,
Lowell. Yes, okay. Portage.
Now that'll go into the next county. So then there's Gary, there's Maryville, Hobart. Now let's go over Crown Point,
Cedar Lake.
Now I said them because I saw a house today actually. Saying that word, Christine. Let's get some realtors on that. We had like our big companies. Those are the ones like BP and Centir and Macaulay and Cleveland Cliffs. Those are the ones we're really trying to talk to about getting on here. If you have any others that you think of, let us know. So back to the cities. Portage goes into that next county.
What county is Portage?
Porter
County.
Chesterton. Valpo. And there's a lot of little ones.
We need to print this out and have a banner so we have it.
And Burns Harbor. Yeah, a lot of little ones.
I saw the sign for Couts coming here actually.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're right near here. And then if you go over to LaPorte County, it's Michigan City and LaPorte are the big ones. And those are those are like the big ones. But if you know of any, you can come on. We like your ideas. We thank you for being there, and you can comment. Any comments over there, George? Anybody seen anything? Okay, Leah, you seen anything on any of yours?
Yeah, Michael Jones thanked you for mentioning him.
Yeah,
Grandma Sue was watching.
Of course, that's our normal
biggest fan.
she always gives us. Ask her how everything's going today because she always used to watch the behind the scenes. She's like, too much ceiling, not loud enough. Where's your lift your shoe? Oh yeah, we've got shoe cams.
Yeah.
But now we're restreaming through the professional to all of the platforms. So this stuff, I mean. I'd rather not know it, but I guess I have to know it. But we're making lots of progress.
Yeah.
All right. So it's about 7:20 now, and we're going to move into our special guest. And that's Barb Domer, City of Valparaiso. She is a councilwoman. And one of the things I wanted to mention is I'm pretty sure it's a majority of women on the council and a majority of Democrats with a Republican mayor. So it's really a balance of powers.
How did that happen?
Correct.
They worked really hard.
Yes, we had a great election cycle in 2023. A lot of new faces entering into
which is important.
The city government realm, and people were ready for a change. And another thing that they were ready for was more balanced representation. That was one thing when I was canvassing, talking to the neighbors. Everybody was getting the feel, or a lot of people were getting the feeling that their voice was not being heard in city government.
With the prior administration.
Right, because it was, a Republican mayor and a Republican majority city council. But our city is made up of Republicans, Democrats,
independents.
Independents.
There's like a large group in there too.
Right. So it really, the voters sent a message in November of 2023 that they wanted a change, and it's a very exciting time. So we've got 4 women on city council out of a total of 7, and 5 Democrats. And so we're really demonstrating how balanced government represents the entire community, and so I'm feeling really good about that.
So before the show, you mentioned about 7 things. We're going to take 3, your top 3, because they work, right? You have 1 or 2 meetings a month.
We have 2 meetings a month,
and in between, you're doing all this work.
Right, and then I'm the vice president of the Redevelopment Commission, and I am the liaison for the Board of Works, as well as representing District 3 and City Council. So. What's happening in Valparaiso? I mean, I really am very proud of the fact that one of my top priorities when I was running was increased funding for infrastructure improvements. We had a budget of $4.75 million for 2024, and through a lot of work and trying to look at all of the different funds and all of the accounts, as well as getting the Community Crossings grant funding of $1.5 million, our total infrastructure improvement budget for 2024 is $8.9 million, with $8.1 million going for paving, $775,000 for sidewalks, my fave, and $176,000 for ceiling. So right now, Valparaiso is in paving season. They're starting with the northernmost part of the city and traveling down to the south. So I'm very proud of that.
Wow.
So we're
worked
giving
hard.
Barb the gold
It's
medal
like double.
for that.
Yes, more than double.
Now, did you have to lobby the feds for that?
No, the only money out of the 8.9 million was 1.5 million from the state of Indiana Community Crossings grant. And so what we did was we looked at all of the funds, looked at where we had some excess funding that we could shift towards the infrastructure, because that was one of the big priorities when I was campaigning.
As you should.
People love our downtown, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But what they felt was happening was the neighborhoods were being ignored. And so now we're really getting to the point where the streets, the sidewalks are getting repaired throughout the entire city. And there's more of that to come in 2020.
Well, they have to be happy about that.
Let's talk a little bit about Valparaiso, just in case the viewership, because like we said, Pete doesn't venture out this way.
No.
But I'm a sports mom, so like I know every city. So you talk, how many people live in Valparaiso?
Just under 35,000.
And you are south of 8094 and the toll road, past Route 6 and around Route 30.
Right. I think the border, I don't know what the
In Porter
northwest border
County,
is, but
Valparaiso
it's in Porter County.
University.
I know District 3 takes like the middle swath towards the southernmost part of the city. So I've got a real large area, but according to the way that the city government is structured, that each of the 5 council members represents roughly 1/5 of the population of the city, and then we have 2 at large, which are it's representing the entire city. So I am the council person representing District 3, but also I'm working for every resident in the city.
So some landmarks: Valparaiso University. We have our county government there, which, you know, the group I was going to say, and I'd missed it, was the pets. They have a shelter. It's a county run shelter, but that's another thing with the pets. We want you to do something for the pets. That's one of our goals on the show, is to adopt, donate, walk. And you also have a lot of good entertainment and business and school, high school education there is very good.
I mean, it's excellent.
Yeah.
We are just, ranked in the state, and, we're fortunate.
Are you
fortunate.
from Valpo?
No, I'm actually from Maryville, but I'm 34-year resident of
Okay.
Valparaiso, and I raised both of my sons in the city, and they're both VHS grads.
What did you do? What did you do, Mom?
I'm an
work?
accountant.
Oh, accountant by
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the I'm responsible as a city council representative for city spending, and I feel like my profession, lends that
sure.
expertise to the area.
I got to tell you, I probably might be surprised to hear me say this, but women-run municipalities and companies are more thorough and more detailed. I've experienced
we
this.
both have
Then
our
with
qualities.
100% guys in it, I've witnessed it.
Coming together is a good balance.
It comes out better.
Well, I mean, as an accountant, I know how to prepare a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So when we were looking for the extra $4.05 million,
You figured it out like immediately, I'm sure.
She knew what to do.
Yeah.
I was able to work, and we worked collaboratively. It was the city council and the city government that really, kind of just, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's coming up, a good event, as
Yeah,
well as
yeah.
Leena's is coming up in October.
But I did
Popcorn.
want to talk about opioid settlement funding as well, because
Yep.
that's
Because-
another initiative. I think it's a nationwide settlement, right? Big
is.
Pharma lost the lawsuits, and thankfully they did, because they contributed to the opioid crisis that's going on
And
in our
unfortunately,
country.
we do have, like I said, too much time, too much money tends to have issues, and we are probably one of the counties with a big rate of that.
Unfortunately.
So we're going to try to stop it with that initiative, and people can still apply. Can you tell us how to do
Well,
that?
so $2.3 million is Valparaiso's share of the opioid settlement money, but every city, town, county, state, and nationwide is receiving a share of funds. And if you were interested in looking at the Indiana Attorney General's website, you could see the breakdown by municipality within the state of Indiana. It's 2.3 million Valpo share, and what we did, we had an application call out, and now I, along with another city council member, have formed a subcommittee to do the review of the applications and to determine, who to award some funding to. And my criteria was that the organization, they needed to be a 501c3.
Correct.
And I felt enhancing the offering that they already provide to the community, because this is additional funding, and that the organization needs to already have demonstrated that they are focused on helping people with substance and opioid use disorders. So this is not something new. This is something that they're doing and reaching out to those people who want help.
So one of the things I'd mentioned there, so you're saying the treatment of with Lauren's is she's preventing. So some of the things we were thinking about is cup covers, education, patrolling on 8094 to keep the fentanyl out of the county, because we do a lot across the board for after the fact. And I'm looking at Jeff over there. We want to prevent things from happening, right? And Leena, right? Okay. And I'm really sorry to do this. We're moving into the 7:35. So you're going to say one more thing that you'd like to do, and then you're going to just talk briefly about League of Women Voters and the election.
Okay. So another initiative that's very important to me that we're just getting started with is to improve housing attainability for the current Valparaiso residents. We see that there's a need. There's a market research analysis being done right now to determine exactly.
Everybody, I'm actually looking for like a condo, like high density with like stores underneath. We were going to do that up in Chesterton, but somebody didn't want it and they didn't approve the water. But I think more important, people, if you can do it right and make it affordable, that's the key.
We're calling it attainable because
Okay.
what we want everybody to know is that there is a wider swath of people in different economic brackets that are in need of housing. And sometimes you just need that first step up to help.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be working as a city to try to get that done for more people.
Wow.
Now, on to the League of
Yes.
Women Voters. So one of my big wins, I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Porter County, and I'm a former board member, and also a member of the League of Women Voters of the Lake Michigan region. So environmental issues are very important to me. I love Lake Michigan. I wish we got that water in Valparaiso. Maybe one day we will. But I advocated and asked for the action to increase voter turnout on voting day, on election day. And recently the city government, the Board of Public Works, approved free transit on primary
Very
and general
nice.
election
Very
day in the
nice.
city of Valparaiso. So you can take the city bus
Wow. Good.
to a vote center and not have to pay to get there. And so this was a real big win for me. I was very proud of the fact that the mayor and the Board of Works were on board with that, because it's all about voter access,
Well,
increasing voter access
There
and voter
are
advocacy.
other ways, because there's early voting and absentee voting. And one way
Right.
that people have not known, if you have real trouble voting, you can have a voter board. Call your county office. They'll come to your house and help you fill it out. I don't think anybody knows about that.
Oh, right, the travel board.
Yeah.
So you would just request it, and then they bring a Democrat and a Republican to your home, and they give you the ballot. And if you need help, just mechanically helping with
Right,
the,
like
no
you
one
can't
tells you who to
see,
vote for.
you don't know where to punch
They
it.
just tell you, right,
Right.
that this is what you need to do in order to get your voice heard. Because one of the things I really pushed when I was campaigning for this office was your vote is your voice. So use it.
100%.
So can you show us the brochure of
It
all
is.
your friends that are
Yes.
running?
Yeah,
George, can you
so-
zoom in on that?
So
And we
this
have
is,
equal time. The other side is welcome to come and show their brochure as well.
Yeah, so this is from the Porter County Democrats. I'm a Democrat, and all of the candidates that are running on the Democrat ticket.
Who made that?
Starting with, this was the Porter County
Oh, okay. I was in that one, but
organization.
Valpo I didn't make. Apparently, it
Yeah,
wasn't.
and so, I've endorsed Leslie Nuss for State Senate District 5 and Erica Watkins for State Representative District 4, but I support every candidate on the slate. And I hope that people, there's little QR codes. I'll leave this here with you, and you can check it out, because it's really important to, one other thing that I want to mention is Vote 411, which is a League of Women Voters website. And that website is awesome, because basically it asks, the League asks all of the candidates the exact same questions. And then they produce their answers in this website, so you can do side-by-side comparisons of the candidates from all parties.
Answer, but I don't know if it matters to some folks, because it just is how it is.
It's just
but it's a good
arming yourself with more information.
So where are you going now? Because you told us you're going somewhere.
I'm going to
Zao Island.
Zao Island, because they have a musical benefit for Special Olympics until 9 o'clock tonight. So I'm going to dash over there.
Thank you so much for coming.
But yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, and make sure you get some treats on the way out.
All right.
I'm going to briefly mention the food that came in. So that's probably not a bad thing that they aren't here to talk, but last mom to see this food truck. I don't know if you can see that. You can do that. Not really. Monica Jimenez, 219-455-1714. And you can get a hold of her. Did you see any of the things? Do you know any of these besides the sangria, which I brought, which is
I love it.
Name some of these things. Sopas.
I have no idea.
Tacos. And Leah, what was the third thing? I think it was. Did you see anything, George? Chips in the there was a dip, not salsa, but it's another dip that Lauren likes. Pardon? Oh. Can you see it?
That looks good.
Yes. Can you see it? Woo, yum. All right. And then I also had this. I was going to give it to her, but it's the Taco Revolution. So she did just win best taco in the region.
She did.
Yeah. So thank you for doing that, Monica. I hope everything you're feeling better. And I'm going to move that bag right there. Pete, can you do that? All righty. We're going to go right into Christine Juda. She's our 7:30 music. Is she ready? Met her at beautiful, multi-talented. But what's your day job?
Well, I am a nursing supervisor for a local community mental health facility in Northwest Indiana. That's Regional Health Systems. And so I supervise a team of nurses and medical assistants, and we provide care for the community, all of Northwest Indiana. So it's a great job. There's many resources.
What's the number? What's the number there?
I have used that service, not for myself, but for my parents lots of times.
Okay, yeah, that's really great.
So I know,
Yes.
it is.
Yes, there's psychiatrists, medical doctors, nurses, therapy, outpatient substance abuse. It's really...
What's the number? People can just call it?
Sure. I mean, you can call. It's 219-769-4005. And they can set you up with an appointment or link you to a service. Actually, they do really great assessments of the client and find out what they need or what they can benefit from.
I want to mention there is a new suicide prevention hotline, 988. You just call that. Mm-hmm. And so I tell people, I talk to a lot of people who are struggling, and sometimes I can't answer, sometimes it's during the night. You could just call them and just talk. I mean, a lot of people just need somebody to talk to. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I think I put it on Facebook when I see people struggling. I'm like, try to do things like turn on the Olympics, walk your dog, call somebody who actually might need your help. That's
Yes. We have a brand new crisis center that just opened. It's kind of like an emergency room where a person it's open. It's on Taft Street in Maryville. Okay. So that's Regional Health Systems, and you can walk in and receive 24-hour care. And they can link you and put you where you need to go for help.
That's wonderful.
So the patients don't have to sit in the emergency room waiting.
When the ARPA funds came out, we were talking about that 3-tiered system for wellness, emergencies, and then there was this other thing going on with this human trafficking. So that's good. That's in Maryville. So we're going to lighten it up a little bit. Christine Juda was the mom and that was a just beautiful experience at the Opera House. It's beautiful, the Carole King story. And you were the mom.
I was Carole King's mom.
Yeah. What was her name?
Jeannie.
You look like Jeannie. And you did the Stupid Cupid, and then you did the mom.
It was so much fun.
And then you're like, oh, I can do all this stuff. I sing and I play guitar. So how do people get a hold of you if you wanted to book in music?
Right.
Like
well,
all of our musicians
I do
are going gangbusters.
a lot of private parties, a lot of weddings. I mean, I've done just a lot of wedding ceremonies, at the churches and things, or even outdoor, like at White Hawk and Fair Oaks Farms. Depending on the setting where the couple has the wedding, I'm able to sing for their ceremony.
What about, are you interested in these, I see so many people at these destinations, like restaurants. Are you interested in that?
I've done that. I've done a lot of venues, restaurants, hosting open mic nights. I also performed with Elvis impersonator for like 2-3 years, traveled all around Northwest
I bet that was fun.
Chicagoland area, yeah. Paramount Theater and Holiday Star back when that was there.
So you're a swimmer too, because I was like, no wonder she looks so good. She swam for Indiana University.
Oh, really?
That's no easy task. And then how did you get this music? How did you know about that you were musical?
Basically, my dad played the guitar and sang, and I think I got received my first guitar when I was in high school, and I just started playing and singing. And in college, I was taking lessons in swimming, and I just never really stopped, and I just kept going. Yeah, I really love doing it, and it's very enjoyable. And
so what are you singing for us?
Well, I'm going to sing a couple little snippets, not a whole song, but just to give you an idea of the music a little bit. So I'm going to play "It's Too Late" from the musical. Okay.
Beautiful.
It's never too late.
Stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time. There's something wrong here, there can't be no denying. One of us is changing, or maybe we've just stopped trying. And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it. Something inside has died, and I can't hide, and I just can't fake it. It's too late, baby, it's too late. Now, darling, it's too late.
We were doing backup for that because we had that in the musical. That was beautiful. Is this just your Elvis?
Little country tune. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk for miles along the highway. Well, that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you.
Nice. I thought you were going to do a little Elvis.
I'm going to do a little Elvis, too,
That's
for
right.
you.
Absolutely.
Everybody sing.
But you can join in. Come on, Becky. Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, Mama. Anything that you won't do, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, Mama. Any way you do.
I'm a good ooer.
Well, dee 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 dee. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, Mama. Any way you do.
I used to do that with my lip. Nice. I used to do that with my lip. little Elvis with me. I could do that. Well,
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And so what we'd like to do, so we've got a lot of folks in this hour, but during the fall, I'd like for you each to come back and just do your own show. Because like we could talk to each of you for the whole segment, like the 15, 20 minutes, right?
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you
sure
very
you get
much.
That. And another idea I had, everybody who comes on, we're going to do like NWI's Got Talent, and people can vote and you can win stuff. Right? Like we've had
Have
such
a homemade talent show.
Yeah, that's right.
Why not?
Right. So after that, we've got Leena and Jeff. And Leena, you can hop on up. And then if Jeff, after she talks a little bit, if you want to come on, if she can use that other microphone, because you kind of got the same vibe going, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Okay, Leena. How do you say your last name?
Meisberger.
Meisberger.
German.
Oh, it just makes me hungry.
Hopefully not for mice.
No, just burgers. So tell us all about you.
Okay. Well, I'm the founder of Light the Way, which is a worship ministry based out of Chesterton. This came to me about 4 o'clock in the morning. I own an in-home daycare. I was sitting for about an hour in the morning because I need that hour where no one's touching me all day. And I was watching the Asbury Revival pop off in Kentucky on social media. I don't know if you guys were following, but at Asbury College in Kentucky last year around February, they had a revival that just went on for days and days and days. And I was like, why doesn't anything, out loud said, why doesn't anything like this happen in here?
So is that kind of what it is, like an event fest revival?
So it's whatever God wants it to be. So at that moment, I said, why doesn't anything like this happen here? And almost audibly heard a voice say, you're going to do it. So you can ask a God to move a mountain, but you have to be prepared to wake up next to a shovel. So he gave me everything I needed. I was just there for permits and paperwork. Worship teams from all over the region, all different denominations of Christianity. We had Baptist, Lutheran, Pentecostal, Catholic. I mean, everybody just came together. We had 7 worship teams. This happened in 4 months, mind you. What takes usually about a year of planning to put together took 4 months. It was 7 worship teams, and 800 people showed up.
Wow.
And where was that? Was that Portage?
That was in Chesterton, in downtown Chesterton at
When
Thomas
was
Centennial
that?
Park. That was on June 23rd of 2023.
Oh,
that was our very first one.
Okay.
And then, so this has only been going on for over a year, just over a year.
How did you do it so fast in 4 months? How'd you pull it all together?
It really was. I mean, worship teams, churches started calling me kind of out of the blue, and they were like, "We heard you're having a worship night. From who? Who cares? We're in."
Exactly.
And we're gonna bring the Bethel and Paul Danger, who's our sound producer. He brought all of this material that he'd been buying for years. And didn't really know why. It was because he said, it's because I was going to meet you someday. So he brought all the sound equipment and ran tech for our event. Bethlehem Lutheran, who has been a huge partner for us, they brought communion and gave communion to the whole crowd. And then the River Church in Chesterton brought a baptismal so we could baptize people. And everybody just combined resources. So instead of one person having to come up with a whole event's worth of things, the churches from all over the region came together and worked together. These churches that had no relationship with each other, didn't even know each other existed, who typically don't even get along based on their dogmatic differences, decided to put all that aside to promote unity within the body of Christ. And they brought all this stuff together and served an entire community. And it has gone on, and we're getting ready for our 6th event on October 5th.
So
it's gone
it was
on
Chesterton, Portage, and then Chesterton. Where else?
So we did
Chesterton.
The first year, which was just God's way of like teaching us how to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
So we did 2, and then Valparaiso University gave us their chapel, which is one of the 10th largest chapels in all of the country. Gave us their chapel.
How did that come about? How?
Their worship, I had reached out to their worship team, the Valparaiso University Praise Band, to play at our October event after our June one. So they played, and the leader of that team said it was such a transformative experience, it changed the trajectory of her future. And she believed in it so much that she asked VU to host us for our gala to raise money for
When's
all
your
of our
gala?
events. It was in February of 2024.
Wow.
We
Okay.
did a gala at Valparaiso University. They gave us the chapel for a night, and we brought together a united team, which was worship leaders from all different churches, built their own team, and they played at a very, very fancy dressed gala, and we had a silent auction, and we raised all the money we
How many
needed to
people
pay
did you
for.
have?
Only 115 at that one because it was our
That's
first
still
paid
good.
event.
That's good.
And but we raised the money we needed. I have not paid 1 cent for any of these events out of pocket. That money has been returned to me every single time. I fronted the money, but
Right.
God has returned every single dime and then some to me for every single thing that we've done.
So Portage, Chesterton.
That we did Portage after VU. That was so this year was about branching out. We had it's nice to stay in the comfort of Chesterton because it's our home, but the word cannot extinguish on us. So we had to branch out. So we didn't want to get too far away from home because this is still new. So we went to Portage in May. And we had an event there at that Founders Park, and then we went back to Chesterton.
And you had 1,000 people there, right?
That was about 450 because I asked God for sunshine, and He gave us 90-degree weather. He was like, "Heard sunshine." And it was so hot. So we had about 450 people there in 90-degree weather. And then we did Chesterton just a couple of weeks ago. Then we had 1,000 people show up. The Parks Department said that was the most people they've ever had at that park
That's
in
amazing.
downtown
Yeah,
Chesterton
they're like, is this
ever.
a third Friday?
It
I'm
was
like, no, this is like the
incredible.
way.
We were expecting, maybe 500-600 people after we
That's
had
how I met you.
the
was
turnout.
through
Yeah.
that. And your MC.
Norma S. Williams
Norma.
she runs a ministry called the Joyous Women, and she's our MC for all of our events. We met in a divine appointment, and she's been phenomenal, and she actually is now on our board as our spiritual advisor.
And when is your event here in Valpo?
October 5th. So I
October
don't know
5th.
if
And how
October
do people just Google, call?
So we're Light the Way's on Facebook. We're also on TikTok and Instagram, but Facebook is probably our most active account. And then you can find Light
Can
the
you
Way
put that-
in
Can you see that,
in our
George?
events.
Okay.
So you can find everything on the Light the Way page. And then we are going to be in the Popcorn Festival parade. We're going to be in our first Popcorn Festival.
That's when?
That's a great idea.
September 7th. So we're going to make a little float. And then we're going to be passing out flyers. And since it is almost exactly a month before the event in downtown Valparaiso, so we're going to be at Central Park Plaza at the Northwest Health Amphitheater on October 5th from 5 to 10 p.m. We're going to be there with Bethel Valparaiso, the Valparaiso University Praise Band, and oh my gosh, Living Hope Church.
So what's your mission?
So originally, and this is maintaining our mission, is to bring together churches of all different denominations to promote unity within the body of Christ. However, what came to pass at the second one, because God never does the same thing twice, He brought us all these amazing nonprofit organizations. So in addition to what we do with the churches, we give nonprofit organizations a place to promote themselves and their resources to a community in need. So our last event, we had 32 nonprofits show up to provide resources to the
Lauren,
community,
that's
which
how
Lauren, which is how I met you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I met a lot of
Lauren's was
incredible
the
people.
Angels Honor Guard.
And so in 2025, though, God is sending us on a different path. We will still be doing 2 large events. We're doing a 24-hour worship service, revival tent service on a farm in Valparaiso. But we're also, and back in Chesterton one time, because that will always be our home. But we are going to be leaving the 99 to go after the 1. So we are going to be going into a prison. We're going to be going into elderly communities, and we're going to be working with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and bringing worship to people in hospice on their way home
That's
to
fantastic.
Jesus, and just trying to
I think
provide
just
worship for
reaching
people
just
that are
reaching
in
the
need.
family in their home would be.
We did. That's how
mean,
this started.
Yeah, because families. You would think that, with marriage and family, you really, in today's world, you really need a lot of help with that.
Yeah, and you get obsessed with with events with the amount of people that come, but really it's about one. It's just one person is worth
making
everything.
that
So we got to visit a
matter.
lady in Chesterton. Her name's Tina Jessen, and she has Lyme disease, and she's been stuck in bed for 7 years. She's a young mom, got bit by a tick. We're in Indiana, that happens, and it changed her whole life. and she is not able to go to our events, so we brought a worship night to her, and we filled her house with people to worship and pray. We brought musicians in, and we filled her bedroom with musicians, and we put a worship night on in her home, and that inspired us for what we're going to be doing next year. So we still have the events, but I think God is kind of reminding us to go after one, and just the value of how important just one person is to him.
So I'd like to bring Jeff on. Can he get on the couch too with a mic next to her? Or did she have to, or do they have to switch out? Oh, okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to let folks know?
Just Jesus loves you, and God loves you, and we love you. So we hope you can come out to our event in October, and please say hi. I'll be the one running around like a chicken with their head cut off, but I'm always available for hugs.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, yeah, they feel alone. I'm like, but you know, you have Jesus or God or the Holy Spirit. And something we were talking about earlier, Leah was watching The Chosen Friday night, and I'm like, can we get him? Can we get that actor?
Oh, Jonathan Rumi. Oh, I wish.
Because the meme was when you want to hit somebody, but no, you don't. And he was like, yeah, do what Jesus does.
If you've never watched The Chosen, even if you are just somebody who's been just like kind of wishy-washy about starting a relationship with Jesus, that is a very good place to start, because it doesn't follow the Bible like letter to letter, but it does.
How do you watch
does spark
that?
an interest. It's on Netflix now. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, like pretty much anywhere you can watch TV, but The Chosen has a free app you can watch. It is the most successful
didn't they have Marky Mark helping with that too, with the Bible verse of the day?
No, he does. It's on the Hallow app is what you're thinking of. Jonathan Rumi's on the Hallow app as well. But it is the largest crowdfunded show ever on television. And it is absolutely phenomenal. And it's definitely worth watching. It gets you started asking questions.
This is inspiring, and I've traveled the world, and there's a lot of belief systems out there. But honestly, I think the tenets of Christianity, like the commandments and how you treat others, and I know my kids are way more advanced than me because I'm older, I'm a little bit more jaded, but because I'm a mom too, so sometimes like tough love. So anyway, but I think what we're really trying to do is say, be the person that God meant you to be. That's what I say that a lot.
Yeah, love God and love people. Everything else will come to you in time, you know. But
well, I appreciate you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Your energy is great. It's contagious.
Oh,
I love it. Love it.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'll switch out. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Make sure you get some treats.
I ate.
Okay. All right. Now we have Mr. Jeff Robertson. How are you?
Good.
We got to know each other a little bit backstage. Beautiful. Is he okay with the mic? Okay. And little by little, he kept on telling me all these things that he does. So tell us what you do, Jeff.
Well, I am passionate about protecting children, and I'm a child divorce buster, and I guess you would say a family peace negotiator. I'm a guardian ad litem in the courts, which is basically a child advocate who works with the families, advises the judges, and that's something that I've sort of went in backwards. My big dynamic is protecting children.
And do you work for a company or
I have a private practice.
Okay. And so are you a social worker?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And we talked backstage, so that was one of the things that we were saying is be the person that God meant you to be. And tell us a little bit more about how you feel about those types of situations. Well,
worst day of my life still probably is when my dad announced he was leaving home when I was 4. And I think it's important that we as a society try to prevent such things. And how do we do that? Well, I was a wedding prep assessment counselor for Valpo Nazarene for years. And I believe in pre-exclusivity counseling before people get too far in the relationship, particularly physically, because once that happens, it's really hard to pull back. But the bottom line is that we don't do that as much as we used to. Pastors used to do wedding prep and those things, and people aren't sure what to do. And I encourage people, if you have, and the thing we have with healthcare now, federally, most insurances have to provide some mental health care in their network, and people are not sure what to do. But a lot of companies have employee assistance programs now where they have licensed counselors like myself who are available to give 3 or 5 or visits. And you can also, with your employee assistance program, also get a consult from an attorney and different things and resources. And I just encourage people to be preventative about that, because the children end up being the innocent casualties of a lot of this.
Stats show, and we've talked about this before, one of my favorites is Jordan Peterson, and we go on stats. It's not how I feel, it's stats. Doing these types of things. And they used to do it a lot through the church, and I did go through it, and I was older and I was educated, and still in today's world it's over 50% now. And I don't know why it's so easy to get out of your vows and your covenants and your promises, but it seems to be pretty prevalent.
Yeah, the divorce rate's almost up to 2/3.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably 60% now.
Yes.
And then even beyond that, there's other things that go on
And then that multiplies all the children that suffer in that. They don't get to see that. Families come to me and they say, we got this going on from years ago. And my style is a little more aggressive, assertive. If one party contacts me about saying, we got this family event going on and I'm hesitant because the other side's going to be there and I'm not sure what to do, I said, I'll call them. Let me call them. Let me negotiate. You stay on this side of the building. You stay on that side of the building. Whatever it's going to take.
What about
people feel safe bringing their children, that the children don't miss out.
What about remembering your vows, like love, honor, cherish through sickness and health, rich and poor, good and bad? Where did that go? Like we above me. And
I'll be honest. My own opinion is that any more with divorce court, irreconcilable differences is, that's spit out. ID is spit out. Yeah. My own personal belief is that 24/7 piped in the churches should be, and in the courts is the Wayne Newton song. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. Mommy, don't you walk so fast. Mommy, slow down some, 'cause you're making me run. Mommy, don't you run so fast.
I've never heard that, but that's lovely.
Wayne Newton, Las Vegas, when he started out.
So that just means like slow life down?
Slow life down. Well, put your child first.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. And I'll be honest, people say, how do you have the power? And real power is not control, it's influence. A good example, there used to be a TV commercial called E.F. Hutton.
Yes.
And they'd say E.F. Hutton and everybody gets silent, right?
Yep.
That's the same thing. My role is I say, look, make the kids first. Turn the pyramid upside down. The kids need to be the bright. Imagine what they're listening and hearing.
So what happens?
And a lot of parents, when they remember that, and I said, remember when you were a kid and you heard your parents arguing, how much it hurt you? Because you're part of both of them. Yeah. And when one says something about the other, they're throwing mud at the other, but they hit the child.
What happens when the kids are 18 and people are like, oh, done my time? Aren't kids forever? And grandkids?
I think kids need you at 22 more than they do at 2.
That's I'm more busy.
The male
now.
brain doesn't reach full reasoning potential until 30.
So how do
25.
people get a hold of you?
Well,
and
I'm on
coming up?
Google and but
don't you have a class coming up in Valpo?
I have lots of different things going on. I have a men's class.
I thought it was tonight.
Well, no.
Did it start?
6 p.m. Sundays, I'm having a men's class, just men. That solves a multitude of dynamics, and my woman counselor is going to have a woman's class, and I'm changing the way I do things. I'm as well as a pastor as well, and a lot of people are working 6 days a week now with inflation and everything. So my approach is no excuses. I'm going to go to church at a different church every Sunday in Lake and Porter County. And I am going to work from noon to 5, see people half hours, and at 6 p.m., we're going to have a men's group, donation, that type of thing. And we're going to talk about promise keepers. We're going to talk about the best relationship trainers. A lot of it is we've gotten away from it. I'm a big history buff. And if you want to see where our country's going, look at England. We're about 200 years behind them. Look at their morality. And unless we do something drastic.
It seems like it's all over.
Unless we do something drastic and wake up, But that calls for, as she was just saying, the church is coming together. The hypocrisy, the double standards. Billy Graham, where I went to school, actually got to meet him, said, for everything the church does together, how much do they tear people down? We need to be conscious, and little ears are listening.
Yeah.
They're watching, and they mimic what we do.
So we're going over a little bit, right? What time is it, George?
Well, I can stop.
Okay, you need to give me a hand.
That's
so
okay.
some weeks we're a little early, but some weeks we go a little bit later. We love having you. Once again, this is Good Day NWI. It's up on the screen. I don't know if I said that at the halftime. Becky Matea,
And I'm Pete Panos.
Jeff Robertson, and they can just Google you.
Yeah, Google
For
me.
help?
I have Google reviews. I have all of that. Facebook, that's my big ministry as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So, sure.
All right.
219-771-1219.
Well, appreciate
That's an
you.
easy number to remember.
So next month, I'm probably doing the one because my surgery is scheduled. We'll go weekly. We have Cornelia Street, Rockology, Cecilia Ballard, Elena, singing telegrams, and more. You have anything going on that you want to talk about before
No.
we sign off?
No. Just
Well,
keep yourself healthy, right?
Yep. Yep. We thank all of you. Appreciate you coming. I usually say have a spectacular week, and you do the
Take care of yourselves and each other.
and God bless.
Yeah.
If you want to say that, sign off.
Amen. God bless.
Yes.
Yes.